Welcome to the March 18th, 2019 meeting of the North Brookfield School Committee. This meeting is being recorded by the North Brookfield LPAC. If there's anyone present who is also recording this meeting, please raise your hand so others are aware. So we don't have any recognitions?
No, I guess the only people that I would recognize, well, it's a long list, but not official recognition. We'll go over it later in the agenda, but we had a pretty significant power outage which cost us a number of days of school. But between our custodians and our elementary teachers who were willing to do whatever to get back into school, the electrician, the fire chief, the building inspector, I mean, so many people were involved in trying to rectify the problem as quickly as possible. The list is too long to name them all, but thank you to everyone who assisted with that very challenging time.
So we have this Christina Aya for the Student Advisory Council.
Hi, so it's been, I think, a month since I've met with you guys, so I'm going to start off in February. So on February 8th, we had a winter pep rally. We held this in order to announce the basketball teams and the cheer squads. We obviously set up a bunch of games like we always do. It's just a good way to get the school excited and a lot of school spirit in. The day after that, we had snowball, so it was good to get everyone hyped before the dance. And we had the snowball on February 9th, and that was from grades 9 through 12, and that was from 7 to 10 p.m. So that went pretty nice. Everyone seemed to have a good time. There was a lot of people there for our dance. Decorating went really well. There wasn't a lot of people there, so it was really challenging, but it was like one of our most well-decorated dance, I think, so it went very well. We went to the MASC Leadership Conference, which was amazing as every year. This was March 5th through 9th. 19 actually, student council members from our council get to go and experience this, where all the student councils in Massachusetts meet at a huge conference. And it's just great. We get to share our activities that we do, share our leadership qualities, listen to keynote speakers, and it's just an amazing time to all be together in a nice environment like that. And lastly,
did you guys win an award?
Yes, we did. So I won the Commonwealth Award along with Nick LaRoe and Justin LaRoe, and Hannah Schultz got a scholarship to go to summer camp this coming summer, so that was awesome. Huh? Oh yeah, and we got Gold Council as well, which we have every year for a while, so it's high expectations, but we did it. And finally, on April 8th, we have Spirit Week. These dates are going to be announced soon as to what each day is going to be. We have lip sync at the last day on Friday, and obviously this is a fun week for the entire school, so we'll be looking forward to hosting that. And that's all I have tonight. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we need to approve the minutes from our meeting of February 25th. Motion to approve the school committee regular meeting minutes from the meeting on February 25th, 2019.
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So we have no presentations.
No,
really?
Policy subcommittee.
Oh. Motion to approve policy subcommittee meeting minutes from the meeting on February 25th, 2019.
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So moving on, I don't believe we have any presentations. I don't appear to see any public here for participation. And Elizabeth has actually a update report on our education funding forum.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess I'll even start with, because last time we met, it was right before Maria, Rich, and I traveled to the State House on February 28th as part of our Rural Schools Advocacy Day. And that was organized by the Massachusetts Rural Schools Coalition. So we visited the State House, met with a number of legislators, and then that following week, the North Brookfield School Committee hosted our March 5th state funding forum. And that was well attended. We had, I think, a total of 6 superintendents, including Mr. Lind, and superintendents from Quabog, Quabbin, Spencer, East Brookfield, Leicester, Am I forgetting any?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, yeah, so that would be, and we also had Senator Ann Goby and Representative Donnie Berthium, and I think overall it went really well. There were good questions. Mr. Lynn started off the superintendent presentation portion, just sharing just the level of challenge that we've been facing over the budget, and then that was followed by the other superintendents who shared the same funding challenge stories, and just having them identify and walk through one by one the number of cuts that those districts have had to face because of tight funding. And the idea of the forum was to educate people about how state funding works, really sort of a lay person's overview, and then to present an overview of some of the various proposals that are currently being considered in the legislature. And so building off of that, today there was actually a meeting of the Joint Committee of the Ways and Means, and Maria and I submitted questions that we sent to Representative Berthium and Senator Goby for them to bring before that committee. And we're also working currently on getting, gathering testimony from ourselves, superintendents, some teachers possibly, as well as sort of a general letter of testimony that we're collecting signatures for. And that's to be sent for next Friday, March 22nd. There's a joint committee, public hearing of the Joint Committee on Education, and we want to present that testimony there. So that's sort of where we stand with the current advocacy piece on the state funding level. Maria, do you think that covers it?
Elizabeth did an amazing presentation. She really mapped out
Thank you.
funding, and I think in a very clear way, and that really helped. Well, I talked to one woman who is a teacher. She has children in the school, and she said she'd been a teacher for 15 years, and she learned all sorts of new things that she didn't know by watching that presentation.
Yeah.
And so yes, thank you. Elizabeth's done a ton of work. She also wrote our letter of testimony that we're gathering signatures. And it's not a petition, it's just a letter for both North Brookfield residents, but also residents of this region, with the hope that, if we all speak together, they are more likely to listen. And in particular, we're very concerned that Senator Hines of the Berkshires Senate bill that is asking for a rurality factor to be included in the Chapter 70 formula will be included. So that's one of our, the Promise Act, the redoing the funding altogether is good, but our region really needs that rurality factor. We will not benefit all that much just from the Promise Act being updated. And yeah, so it's been interesting. Good work, a lot of work, you guys.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, nice job.
Thank you for doing all of it.
Just to reiterate what Maria said, Elizabeth made something that is very challenging to understand in the Chapter 70 funding formula and sort of the way it's put together into something that's consumable by all of us. So that was very well done.
And I believe you're going to share it on the school website.
Yep, and then I've submitted a letter. I submitted a letter to the Joint Committee on Ways and Means, and have one also to send off to the Joint Committee on Education as well. And MASS, the Superintendents Association, has strongly urged all superintendents to be involved in this year of education, as they're called.
Yeah.
And this is really, it's really a one-time shot.
Yep, this is the time.
Adjust a formula that's 25 years old, and if we don't adjust it, that supports students in North Brookfield, it may be another 25 years before we get another shot. So I would encourage residents, not just parents, residents, because this has a much wider range than just school funding. As we talked about in the forum, school funding that is inadequate on the state level impacts town funding for not just the school department, but all the other departments. So I would encourage everyone to get on board with the testimony that's being submitted, because it's not about anything specific other than saying address the funding formula so that all students here and across the state benefit from it, not just smaller subgroups from various communities.
So Elizabeth also gathered together names of all of the significant people in the state legislature. So I mean, we have our letter. We're happy to, if anybody wants to, we need to get it all together before Thursday, but we can share the names of the politicians who are on the Committee for Education and also on the Ways and Means Committee, and also our local state senator and state representative to, you make sure that they are hearing this, because, many of them live within Route 128 or at the very best Route 495, and they are not aware. I will give them benefit of the doubt. They're not aware of the situation, so, that we face out here. So we'll share those names and emails. Thank you again, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
So moving on to financial reports, the FY19 budget update.
Yes. So the majority of lines are in okay shape, particularly obviously our salary lines. There are a couple that are over, but many of them are small dollars. Some of the office lines might be over, but we're talking about $100 or $400, which is not a huge deal at this point, but we'll obviously keep an eye on everything. In terms of, we continue to watch things like
Thank you.
our sublines. But again, I think as we've done some of the work looking at the pluses and minuses, certainly the majority of the sublines is the fact that we've had some folks out for longer periods of time, whether it be a maternity leave or medical leave of some kind that has truly impacted those to the extent that they are over. In terms of the, one of the lines we're watching is the high school maintenance line, because of the roof.
Because of the roof.
We were able to have Mr. Canada come in and check out some things. Remember, he was here a couple of meetings ago. We had to wait for a day where he could come and it was raining.
Right.
So he and Mr. Shaw looked around and he had some ideas that we're gonna implement, which is great.
Good.
In terms of the grant accounts, again, things are in pretty good shape overall. The AMPM revolving account is in great shape. The athletics is in pretty good shape in terms of some of the uniforms and supplies we end up purchasing for the start of next year. So what's in there now will obviously be impacted as we move forward with those kinds of things. School choice, in great shape. We're actually ahead on that. In terms of the number of kids in versus out. Just as kind of an FYI, when we receive the governor's budget, we're looking at about a $40,000 improvement in versus, out versus in. The number of kids out is down, and the number of kids is slightly up, not a lot. So, in terms of what the town pays, the town will see a decrease in the amount of money we pay out for school choice, which has for a long time been really frustrating. I think it's been around $600,000. We're looking at, probably about $40,000 less than that right now, which is a great step. We reduce that pretty significantly. Monique recently, I attended with her, but probably not very well. And then Monique and Melody Spence, her assistant, went to a circuit breaker training So we're hopefully gonna be able to, get that back, in better shape than it's been. I'm not sure that it has been, utilized the way it needs to be, over the years.
Great.
So hopefully that improves to some degree. As you know, it all depends on how much the legislature decrees as the percentage. If they-
Right.
It should be at 75%, but it's often lower than that. That's part of this advocacy, is
Yep.
making sure circuit breaker is fully funded at 75%.
Yep.
After that, there's nothing major. The grants are pretty steady. We've got some reallocation. So for the title grants like Title I, Special Ed, Title IIA, there's money that they have identified to go to certain institutions or organizations. And sometimes those groups decide not to take the money for whatever reason, whether it's they don't want to adhere to some federal mandates that they have to do if they take the money. So if some of those groups don't take that money, they wait a certain amount of time and then they reallocate it. So we got,
Great.
I think $1,000 in special education, and a few hundred between the title grants. It wasn't a ton of money, but it was a little bit more.
Every little bit helps.
And Monique and Jean, who manage those grants, wrote their amendments to grab that cash. So those will change slightly, but nothing that you would really notice significant. And I think that is any questions?
Thank you. This is just kind of, I see this every single time. So $116 in the PTO RUG account.
Okay.
Is that from when they bought the rugs for
I think so,
kindergarten?
yeah.
Probably. So is that something
Probably.
we can vote to close and reallocate money somewhere else?
So if the PTO, I believe this is the way that goes. If the PTO wanted to reallocate that money, they could.
Okay.
And allow the school department to spend it in a different way. Because it was set up as a RUG account, so if they, in their next meeting, have a discussion and say,
Okay.
we want you to be able to buy books for the book room.
Sure.
Whatever,
Yeah.
then
So who
they
add-
could do that. And
is that
just a
something-
letter that from PTO or an email from PTO saying at the meeting we voted to change the purpose
Okay.
to something different. That switch here, I think would need to redirect it.
Okay, and then the elementary school library gift account?
Yep.
What is that? Is that from the same thing when the PTO was buying books for?
think so.
Okay, so I have noticed, and this is a great thing, actually, they have been discarding a lot of very old books in the elementary school library.
Okay?
So I was curious as to how they're gonna buy new ones. Is that something they could use some of that money to
They
buy
could,
new ones?
yep.
Or would it be, would it be better utilized in a different way, like used for the book room or something like that? I would leave that to.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can have a discussion between Mr. Glazier and Jean and see what's needed.
Right.
And see what's needed in the library. Maybe books, maybe other resources in the library.
Right, and if it's, better to be utilized some other way, then that is great too. I never had any idea we raised that much money. That's great. Okay, thanks.
And just in terms of the roof project, we are getting close to being able to close that out. We couldn't close it out because they planted the grass so late, if you remember, it wasn't gonna grow, so we have to wait till late March, April, when they can replant. The other thing is, I did authorize our project manager to send the contractor a letter with liquidated damages of $87,000. 87 days. We have additional bills that have come in because the project manager, Skanska, and the project architect, Dietz, their payments were based on it being, the roof being done by a certain completion date.
Okay.
Since we weren't able to finish by that completion date, their services have been extended, which means they get paid. So we've accrued some bills, and that's what that money would be for.
Okay.
But we'll see how it all plays out. And then the last thing is you see this special education stabilization account in the grant list. We are going to need to tap into that soon, because obviously we've been paying 2 tuitions when we budgeted for 1.
Right.
So I don't know the specific process yet, but the process is the school committee needs to vote and the selectmen need to vote to authorize the use of those funds. So I will get the exact process and then move that forward.
Great.
Okay.
So moving on here, to the superintendent's report, I think we're going to start with your mid-cycle review here. Is that
Yeah, so I provided you with essentially what you saw at the start of the year, which were my goals and action plans, and just kind of an update. We had a number of things that we've done along the way, some of them that are completed, some of them that are ongoing, and some of them that we're working. But a good portion of it is done. If you go through goal 1, there was student achievement, particularly in the area of science, tech, engineering, and math. And strategy 1 was to create a STEM program. We've had a little challenge with the teacher when we lost Mr. Mooney early in the school year. But the rest of the action steps are completed. Hopefully.
Is that something that I know you were working on? Doing?
Yes, we have had several people identified, and it hasn't necessarily worked out for one reason or another. Licensure sometimes becomes an issue. Moving in the middle of the year becomes an issue.
Okay.
So we really started finding someone, and with all the research we've done, that's not uncommon for rural school districts.
Yes,
Struggle.
right. Yep.
So we're looking at this as we're obviously going to continue to look, but we're focusing our efforts on finding someone for the short term and thinking more proactively about next year more than anything, to make sure we get that in place for the start of the school year. Not the best situation, but certainly one that we'll continue to work on. Second strategy was to work to develop science and math curriculum guides. Mrs. Powers has continued to work with all of our teachers in math and science to move that process forward. Mrs. Powers, I don't know if you recall, but last year when they submitted some evidence at the end of last year, has not only a plan for film summits for this year, but also one for next year in terms of outlining where we're going. And those have been, I think, highly successful. I don't think teachers feel like they've had enough time together to do this work, and creating this summit model has created a lot more time. Eureka Math, we have built some capacity between Mrs. Powers, Mrs. Dubuque, and Mr. O'Neill to provide math PD internally without having to hire someone, which has been really successful. The STEM we already talked about, and what we struggled with, and we have begun the pilot for blended learning at the high school. We have some really good stuff happening, and we've got some growing pains, which is the whole idea of a pilot. I think on Wednesday, the math teachers, Mrs. Powers, are going to be headed down to the Village Green Virtual School, where we first saw this in action. I think that will help a lot, answer some of the questions the teachers have. But things are rolling along, and there's a few teachers who are picking it up and really running with it, and some other teachers that are still figuring out how this works and how it looks. So I think it's a good first step. We still have plenty of time left in this school year for it to, for people to get more comfortable. In terms of the next strategy, purchasing dedicated science texts, I think we purchased grade 4 this year, and the plan is to purchase grade 5 for next year, which is still in the budget. So those are moving forward, and certainly the idea of pulling together materials that make sense for instruction is an ongoing thing that is in this plan but never goes away. So that's moving forward as well. It's in process. In terms of targeted professional development, there's a couple of really neat things going on. The task development team, this is through WPI
And Desi.
and the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, are working in a cohort here, but in a larger cohort in our region to really work together to develop science tasks that kids can work on in a way that makes it more active learning, tying into research, etc. We continue to talk with teachers as we go through the curriculum summit process and other places to say, what does it look like for professional learning activities? Because the majority of our time has been spent, particularly at the elementary level, working on reading, writing, and math, and at the high school level, working on the school change process. So what does professional learning look like specifically in science with the new frameworks, work that needs to be done? And K2, we need to kind of double our efforts to give them a little bit more time in science as well. So those are things that we're planning on doing. Do you want to do one bullet point? Any questions specific to goal 1?
Nope, no. Although actually, I'm just curious, Jean, is there any environmental education involved in the science curriculum?
Yes.
There is?
Yep.
Good to know.
Professional practice goal was work to develop and implement a variety of safety-related practices. We've made a ton of progress in this area. We've updated a lot of our security measures. We've installed, like, the front door is done, the back door at the loading dock is done. Video surveillance system here is set up and is about to sort of roll out, so we can actually use it to see what's going on, and the police will be able to access it if there's ever a problem.
And we do need to thank Chief Smith, right, for being able to.
In terms of the
that.
video, yes, we sort of cost share that. We invested some amount of money, I forget the exact amounts to be honest, in a video system, sort of I'll call it a starter set. And Chief Smith was able to follow up with some grant money to actually complete the job. So really excellent situation for us to be able to get that done. The Enforce 911 is up and running. We've used it to run 2 ALICE protocol drills, one with only the staff, this last one with the staff and students. We plan to run a couple of more tests, including a test that Enforce can do where the police actually implement a call for us to go through those protocols.
Will that include students or just?
Yes,
staff?
it will. Those are cases where something's happening off-site or close to our campus, where, so if there was a problem at Dollar General, where they felt like safety was, the police can actually start an Enforce drill, and we can be notified immediately that there's a problem and we should go through our ALICE protocols and do what in the old days we called lockdown, although it looks different now with ALICE. So a lot of progress there. In terms of the crisis plans, we've been able to review them. We've gone through the samples and pulled things together. We've trained staff although we have a lot more work to do in that area, because most of the training has been around sort of the emergency planning
Right.
of, serious situation involving, school shooter or some other person on site. There are plenty of other emergencies we need to train for, but obviously that was the one that was most pressing. Speaking of that, the next strategy was implement Alice. We've done all of this. Now the idea is we need to continue to practice. We need to make this so that people know what to do, when to do it. I know parents get nervous when they say you're conducting Alice tests, which are, again, in the old days, what we might have called lockdown drills. Scary for kids. We look at them very much like with the kids as fire drills.
Mhm.
We train in case there's a fire or need to leave. We train in case there's a need to keep everyone safe. And that's how the kids, it's approached with the students. They never, there's no panic in this. It's very much practice, so we know what to do in case there's ever a problem. Next strategy was the go buckets. Those are all set up, distributed. We did order some extras, so we have extras for the future, which is really good. So a lot of progress there, really happy with where we're at. But again, this is something we need to continue. It might not be a goal in the future. It's part of my evaluation, but certainly something that's a goal to keep alive in terms of training, in terms of practice drills, in terms of keeping things so that people know what to do in case there's ever a problem. Questions about goal number 2?
No.
Goal number 3,
very straightforward.
working on a strategic plan. We've begun the process of collecting data. I have worked with a little bit with the Department of Education on their current format for doing this, and one of the things that they really encourage is to look at other plans that exist in the district. And one of the things that we've really done this year specifically is we've made the Wellness Committee and the Instructional Leadership Team very active. And both those groups are or have created plans. And so the recommendation from some of the folks at the department was, don't recreate the wheel if people have already done the work and you've had a stakeholder group involved. Use those as part of your district improvement plan. So when you pull together a district plan improvement team, they don't have to start from scratch. They can build bigger goals, umbrella goals, that those would fit under, because you've really done strategic, or are doing strategic planning in those areas. So the ILP is working on curriculum, professional learning, and instructional technology integration. Those are huge, each could be a goal area under a strategic plan, or a district improvement. The Wellness Committee is not, you got their plan, I think, 2 meetings ago. That is not just about food. What we serve is student wellness, safety, all those kinds of
It's
things.
comprehensive, yeah.
So really the process from here is to build a team that's, again, stakeholder, wide range of stakeholder. And we'll be doing that as we hit the spring, with the idea of wrapping up by the end of the school year, so in August we can have a final plan for the school committee to approve. That's the one with the most work to do. But we knew that would happen this spring. And then school improvement goals. We talked a little bit about the blended learning model in the previous goal, and that's kind of part of this. These goals should tie together. And so this blended learning model that we've started at the high school is going well and ongoing. I'm not going to repeat everything I said, but the stuff that we really have to work on from here is evaluating as we get close to the end of the year, both qualitatively and quantitatively. So we want to get assessment data, but we also want to get feedback from teachers, from students, from parents about this style of teaching. It's different. So we really want to get, how did this work for you kind of data, in addition to assessment data in terms of how kids do on tests and quizzes and their knowledge of the curriculum. So that's a big piece that's left for that. Obviously, we'll continue to work on helping teachers understand how to teach them as well. And then for NBES, the goal was around working to, with the literacy team, to really continue that work that was begun several years ago with Teachers for Teachers. It has evolved over time to really move to a coaching model where teachers are working together to improve their practice. The literacy team is a very active group this year, getting a lot of work done. And we've begun a conversation about how do we measure growth? Because as we've started this, the real focus has been on how do we take kids who are struggling the most and get them to benchmark. That's kind of a standards-based environment. We're trying to shift the conversation to growth. How do we have every student, no matter where they test, where they're assessed, grow at least a year? So if you have a second grader who's reading on a third grade level at the start of the year, our goal isn't to do nothing with them. Our goal is how do we move them forward so that at the end of the year, he's at the start of a fourth grade reading level at least, right? We want everybody to grow at least a year no matter where they start. Because that's really about improvement, about growth, not just about achievement.
It's also about equity in all students.
Yeah, it's an all-student
Yeah,
approach.
yeah.
So that's what we're working on, but, you know, we had some I's to dot and T's to cross in terms of our writing curriculum. That work is continued. The literacy team is very active, and in our last meeting, we really started talking about the testing and how the assessment would work best, because that's a plan that was developed several years ago, and there are people tied to it, and assessing kids takes a lot of time. So we don't want to over-test in terms of the BAS assessment, but we also want to be able to measure. So again, an ongoing thing that will never end, even after it's not a goal anymore. So all in all, I'm pleased with the progress we've made on these goals. They are my goals, but certainly I don't do this stuff by myself, because they're really my goals, which are district and school goals to improve our practices across the board, whether it's safety or instruction or curriculum or professional learning or whatever. So my goal is obviously by the end of the year, where we at a minimum have plans in place to make these types of changes. Any questions about any of that? It's a lot.
It is a lot. I think my feedback would just be that there is a lot. There's a lot to these goals and action steps, and it appears to me that you have made significant progress in each of these goal areas. I really like the work that was done on school safety, and that will continue. And just like you said, for each of these goals, it's not just, you know, you've done it and now it's done, but you're coming back to it. It's ongoing. You're evaluating. So it's just great. It's a lot of work, and I think even the goal you said, where, you know, that's the one we have the most work to do. A lot of work has already been done, right?
Yeah,
Groundwork
like
has
the
been laid. Yeah.
convening of an actual district improvement team hasn't happened, but.
But a lot of the basis, yeah, of the work
A
that
lot
they
of the
would
things that
do.
will become the actions that the district improvement plan says we want to get to
Yes.
is in place.
Right, right.
So.
So you'll be able to build off of that work already, which I think is great. So thank you for sharing the goals, and thank you for all your hard work.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's very concrete, which I think, you know, a lot of times people don't have it laid out concretely. It's actually really important to break it down the way you have done stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as the administrative team knows, I'm a big advocate for action planning, because I
Yep.
think we do a really good job in schools with ideas and
Yep.
you know, big ideas. But how we're gonna get it done, when we're gonna get it done, who's gonna get it done, is something we're not as good at.
Right. Yeah.
And that frustrates me to say, oh, no, we wanna be better at, you know, whatever, curriculum planning. Well, so
How?
we want curriculum guides, yes. How are we gonna get it done?
How do we do it, right?
Because we have so much time and so many people, how are we gonna
Yep.
use the resources we have to move that forward? So that's the pushback that I always give to them, but they always give to me as well. How are we gonna do this? What are the steps?
Yep.
And that's a good discussion.
It's also a great way to hold each other accountable, which is always nice as well.
Yeah, and for the public to hold us accountable as
Yeah.
well.
Mhm.
For you as their representatives and as
Yeah.
the school committee to hold me accountable for us to accomplish our stuff. To actually improve school safety, or improve curriculum, or improve, whatever we're doing,
Yep.
so.
Thank you, Rich.
Yep.
I just wanna say, and I know that all of the administrators have, and the staff as well have done a lot of work to help you achieve
Oh,
these
yeah.
goals. I just, that I think that it was a great idea, 2 years ago, that to, create the director of curriculum
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
job, and that we are very grateful, Jean, that you joined us, so.
Thank you. It's a lot of
I-
work.
It's made
I know
a,
it
I
is.
do think that it
It's
has
made a
made
difference.
quite an impact, so.
I don't think anybody, I don't think teachers, and I don't think particularly the administrators would disagree, because we all have really full-time jobs, and getting to the
Yeah.
planning of curriculum, setting up summits. I know the principals would agree that it was, an impossibility to spend the amount of time they would want to on creating curriculum and having to do some of that resource.
Yeah.
And apparently, the other district superintendents that joined us on March 5th, I definitely got a sense of envy that we have one.
Yes.
curriculum director, so.
And they want to share.
They wanna
And we're not willing to.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if we're willing to.
I don't
know.
I'm not sure Jean,
Yeah.
maybe if we cloned her, I don't think as an individual she is.
It's a
It's a
lot.
science thing.
Maybe they can work on that in STEM.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, that's their
Right,
next
we can
challenge.
work on. I like
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about that, with the whole push for science, I mean, without you, I don't know if that really would have gotten off the ground. I think it probably would have just been a
Hard.
great idea that we all had and kicked around, and, probably wouldn't have really come to fruition, without somebody making it a focus and a goal and really making sure that it happened. So thank you.
I love it, I'm glad I'm here, so thank you.
Mm.
All right, moving on to the power outage.
Yeah, so we lost a number of days, and we're exploring some ideas about those days, because I did get some folks, some parents who were concerned about different dates of the elementary school getting out 2 days later than the high school. Elementary is June 19th, the high school, junior, senior high is the 17th, Monday the 17th. So we're gonna explore some ideas. I don't know if it's possible yet, but we'll certainly explore it. But I did try to explain that in my parent update, that, where we're at and what we're required to do. So we can certainly explore some ideas to try to minimize, if we can, that difference.
Do you mind just kind of paraphrasing what the concern is that could be prevented by doing, you know what I mean? The time is the time, so.
Yeah, so there's two things that we can look at. One is the idea of, can we create some academic activities that kids could do that would minimize the extra days out? So, how some districts have created blizzard bags, so if there's a storm and they stay home, there's work to do, and they don't lose the day of instruction.
Okay.
Could we do that sort of backwards? Now that the days have gone, can we create some work for kids to do?
What was the actual concern though, like why
Yeah, like, what was
specifically
the
is this
concern?
problematic? I mean, I would understand if it were
There was
flipped.
some
I would
parents who
understand
were
if it
Right,
was
because
flipped as well.
childcare, but,
Yes.
There was some concern from parents saying, does the elementary school have to get out 2 days later than
the
junior
days are the
senior?
days.
That was my response.
I know.
It's
But
like-
don't you think it's worth exploring? I mean, why not? Why not? And just because, those last 2 days at the end of the year, what are they going to be doing? The end of the year, the last week of school, they aren't gonna be doing work.
Of course they are.
Okay.
But whether they're those last 2 days or a different it's like you can move the goalpost and it's the same problem
Yeah,
no
you
matter
could-
what.
You could do days over April break, but then you're gonna upset somebody else with it.
I
guess-
can't do April vacation.
Right,
Yeah,
I
no.
think
Seven
it's,
different people
I'm
get
gonna
nothing
say, I
noticed.
think that
know,
it's worth
teachers-
exploring, just to find out if it's
But if,
possible.
but if they could create like a blizzard bag, and that kids would do work outside the school day, that would help them reduce the days. It's just an exploration, we'll see what it brings us. If it's nothing, it's nothing, but.
And would the union be involved in that as well?
It has to be part of that
Yeah.
discussion. Yeah. Yep.
I don't know that I love that idea, I think if we wanna look into it, it's a good,
Yeah, I'll look
we
into
can
it
look
and then
into
bring it back to
anything,
you.
but.
I mean, you have to
Mm.
approve anything we do. I can't just say we're not going to school, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like looking at Palmer and their situation there with the high school right now, it seems like they're gonna be extending their day. Is that even say a possibility, even if say you added like 10 minutes or, you know, I don't know if that
I
might be
think-
another option.
Well, I mean, I think their
you know?
situation is unusual in that they're looking, I mean, ours
Yeah.
is 2 days, they're looking at least 2 weeks, if not
At
more.
least,
and
yeah.
so that, I mean, I don't think it'd be worth doing that
Yeah.
for our 2 days.
Adding to the day is tough too, cause then you've got like busing.
I know. Yeah, it's kind of like it's an
Yeah, there's the
option. It's
bus
not the
route.
best, but you know, if you had to do it, just to try to bring those
Yeah,
back
we
to
do
the
have,
same date.
we have 181 student days, so the committee could, under the law, reduce 1 day for the elementary school legally.
And we'd still make our, okay.
Mhm.
Because we have to have 180 school
Right.
days, and we have 181 student days. Again, the union would have to be involved in those discussions,
Mhm.
but we could make up 1 day just through a school committee vote saying, you know, we go 181, we're gonna adjust the calendar to 180 for the elementary school only. But,
I don't know, I just wonder that how many, if you have parents that are upset cause the days are off, how many parents do you have that are happy that their kids are in school then? I don't know, and if you give them a blizzard bag, then
I hear you.
are they doing that at daycare if you're working parents? And so, I just feel like my child's teacher is incredibly important in the educational process, so that's my.
I'll explore it and bring back any information, and the committee can discuss it and go from there.
Fair.
Mhm.
Thank you.
All right, power outage. So, when you look at these numbers, so the total number right now is, this power outage cost us $54,438.21. Actually, $59,438.21 is the total losses between
Wow.
paying the electrician, the excavator, generator fuel, loss of food from the
Yep.
freezers,
Mhm.
Extra hours to move food, filters and additives, class OT time for people to help with moving things, just a variety of costs. The electrician bill, it was about $25,000 in supplies. The new panel, the new wiring, all that stuff, so, just a tremendously expensive venture. The insurance adjuster was out last week, middle of the week, and gave us the verbal go-ahead. Was very impressed with what Mrs. LeBlanc had put together
All right.
in terms of this spreadsheet with all the
Very good.
supporting documentation and verbally approved payment.
Okay.
Now, we have a $5,000 deductible, which we'll need to pay.
Okay.
But
better than-
54,000 will
Yeah,
be
it's
covered by
better than
insurance.
54.
Okay.
Better
What
than
insur-
59,
Yeah.
You got it. What
438.21
insurance
cents,
is
right?
for,
So,
right? You pay
yep.
insurance premiums so that when this happens, you don't
Yep.
have that huge expense. Again, as I said at the start, a lot of people were involved in sort of getting through that challenging time. And you can see here just the tremendous costs that were associated. There was just huge damage as a result of the power surge. So, questions about that?
No, it's
I'll let
just.
you know when the payments actually come through. It'll
Yeah.
be nice.
Very good.
Yep. Thank you.
Moving on. Next.
Moving on. So, in your original packet is a, sort of a placeholder. I also put an attachment that was stapled on the back end of your packet on the current principal search update. Which is on the back of your packet.
Okay.
So there's a staple thing somewhere in your, there you go.
Yeah, it's at the end.
So as I have indicated before, but just to reiterate, we received 30 applications for the position. Search committee reviewed and selected 7 candidates for interview. 6 of the folks interviewed over February break. Search committee did all the work, thanks to Monique and Jean, leading that process, developed the questions and rubric to score each candidate. Questions ranged from leadership, curriculum, parent engagement, and other important areas. They also included a writing assignment, which involved writing a letter to parents about an issue. They had very short, they had about a half an hour, 45 minutes to write that letter. And we printed it out and gave it to the members of the search committee to ask more questions on. After conducting those interviews and having, I would assume, a spirited debate, they forwarded 4 semifinalists to me. Last week I interviewed all those semifinalists, and based on those interviews and the work of the search committee, have narrowed the selection of 2 finalists. The finalists are Jennifer Belleville. Ms. Belleville is currently the Director of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment for Millbury. She's been a principal. She's held that role of Director of Curriculum over 5 years in Millbury. Prior to that, she was a principal in Millbury at an elementary school. She also served as a principal at West Brookfield Elementary School and New Braintree grade school. She's been a grade 3 teacher and a special education team chair. She has a bachelor's degree in elementary ed, her master's in special education from Framingham State, and she went through the MESPA, which is an Elementary School Principals Association Principal Certification Program, and she was licensed as a principal, an elementary teacher, and a special education teacher, along with a supervisor and a superintendent. So she is one of the finalists. Teresa Gould is the other finalist. She's currently the assistant principal in Northbridge. She's done that for the last 2 years. Prior to that, she was an elementary teacher in that same school for about 10 years. She has her bachelor's degree in nursing. She was a nurse and she changed professions. She earned a master's degree from Anna Maria in elementary ed, and then went on to start teaching. And then she went on to Worcester State and got another master's degree in educational leadership from Worcester State. She's also licensed as a principal, elementary teacher, and she has her English as a teacher, English of the second language teacher. She's also got her Shelter's English immersion endorsements, as does Ms. Belleville. So we're down to the 2 finalists. The process from here will be that on March 26th and March 27th, they will be in district for site visits. On March 26th, Ms. Belleville will be here. On March 27th, Ms. Gould. The schedule on both days will be identical, and I'll be sending this out, but the schedule essentially is candidate will arrive at around noon. From about 12:15 to 1:30, I'll be touring the elementary school with each candidate. We'll be walking through classrooms, meeting staff, meeting students. As I tell the candidates, this is as much of an interview for them as it is for us. We want people to make the best decision possible, the right decision. So it's really important to get out and see, for me to see the candidate with staff and kids, and also for them to see our classrooms and our teachers and our kids. From 1:30 to 2:30, we'll go back to my office. I have another piece to my interview that I'd like to do with them. At 2:45, we'll conduct a staff forum. My thought is this room, because they'll have access to the smart board, to do a short presentation on themselves. We'll have about an hour. I told them 5 or 10 minute sort of preview, who are you kind of thing. After that, we'll have a meeting with the administrative team from 3:30 to 4:30. At 4:30, I will take them, the candidate out to dinner, more sort of social time, find a little bit about who they are, find out a little bit who I am. I have invited the school committee. I think Ruth said she may be able to attend, which would be great, to have another participant. And then we'll come back here for a 6:15 to 7:15 parent forum, same format, little 5 to 10 minute presentation on who they are as a person, educator, and then open it up to questions. In the folded packet, the last page is sort of a draft of a feedback form that staff and parents will be able to fill out. I'm certainly open to any feedback on the feedback form. You know, those feedback forms will come to me. At the end of those site visits, we'll be exploring the potential of going to visit their sites, certainly contacting those superintendents to see if we can go visit them. It would have to be a small team of people. It can't be everybody, but it would be nice to be able to go to those districts and talk to people there about these two candidates. So, we are very much on track in terms of the schedule. Again, I still think we're ahead of that curve in terms of what I've seen for other postings. So,
Rich, can I just ask?
Sure.
It looks like everybody else gets at least an hour except for the MBA staff. Why is that?
It'll come out to about 45 minutes for everybody, because by the time we get over, this ending here at 3:30, by the time we get over to meet with the administrative team, it'll be probably 3:45.
Okay.
I don't know why I just didn't put it in
I
there.
feel like the
think I-
biggest chunk of time would be with the staff, no? Or a bigger chunk of time?
Right, but if you look, he built in like 15 minutes between the end of,
Oh, the meet with the superintendent.
yeah, like there's the meet with the superintendent ends at 2:30 and it starts at 2:45, whereas all the other ones, there's not that 15
Right.
minutes built in, so if you look at it that way.
It's the end of the day though, so by the time staff gets here, probably 2:45 is reasonable.
That's
Mm.
why.
I was just,
Yeah.
I
so I was
see.
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
2:45 to at least
My ex-
3:45 for
yeah,
staff.
My experience with these forums is really 45 minutes is plenty.
Okay.
They really are, because you'll get maybe a half a dozen to 10 questions is usually what you see.
Okay.
Pretty consistently. It's not a huge amount that people will have questions about. It's really amazing to watch.
Okay.
So that should probably read 3:45 to 4:30 with the administrative team, not 3:30.
So you've got your cushion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
okay.
didn't put it in there for whatever reason, I missed it.
Okay. Thank you.
So-
Parent forum is obviously for anyone.
Yep.
Totally
Parent
open.
/ community forum.
Community. Anybody? Okay.
And these forms will be available for people to fill out. I'll leave and hand them to me.
Okay.
I will be sending out this information via email and Facebook and all those places. So
Very good.
getting that out.
Community forum is gonna be in the auditorium. I apologize. to you. Do we
Yeah,
not
I
know
mean,
yet?
I kind of go back and forth to, I always worry about not having enough space, right? But I also worry about having an area that's too
Too
cavernous.
vast. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think we probably need to plan for the auditorium, but
Okay.
I would hate to have, 10 people here and be in the auditorium. That would be really lousy.
Maybe the library then, yeah.
I mean, the community I'd do in here too. I think it's a better setup for the library. And if we could fit more people in here comfortably and be able to sort of see, then the library,
Yeah.
the library setup isn't very sort of conducive to that. Because we have chairs and I can bring in more chairs to make it sort of a,
Okay.
Yeah,
like an amphitheater, because of the lot.
Either way, you're gonna have a sign, so we'll know where to go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But I just, do you plan it in here, and then if we get too many people, you move it?
I know.
I don't, I know the staff
Yeah.
can fit in here, but I don't know,
Okay.
like,
Who you're
if you
gonna
get
get,
100
yeah.
parents, then you need the auditorium. If you get
Yeah.
10 parents, then this is a much better space.
So you could almost plan for here, and if, you know, you
I
have to
know,
move it, you could move it, you know, it's
Yeah.
better to
I
move
know.
it to a bigger venue than a
True.
smaller one.
I know, it's just.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
we get it. So,
Moving on, Mr. Evans.
Thank you. I have 7 items on my agenda. I'll do them chronologically, which is not how they're arranged on my report, but it makes sense. So back in February, which did not meet altogether in February, we did have our 6th grade shadow days on February 12th and 14th, which I felt went really well. The student feedback, my informal survey of their feedback at the end of the day was extremely positive. I asked them to rate the day 1 through 4, and many of them, you know, give me like 10 fingers, you know, 2 hands, and that kind of level of enthusiasm, which is great. But they got to meet there a lot of teachers and kids and get exposed to different activities that they can join. Sort of a well-rounded day. Do a treasure hunt or a scavenger hunt in the library. Eat lunch with the kids. So I think it went well, and hopefully they all decide to stay here. On March 1st, we started our spring session of studios. And as always, the studios are very popular with the kids. A little sampling this year. We have silent reading, role-playing games, philosophy, creative writing, mindfulness. It's a nice smorgasbord of different kinds of activities that kids can engage in for their studios. 18 studios that are happening this spring, and I thank the staff that volunteer their time to make those happen. Next thing chronologically is.
You don't have to do them all.
No, okay. Thank you, Mr. Lynn. Student-led conferences were last week, and they were a tremendously successful event. We're at 85% participation from parents, a little bit down from last year, but still way higher than we would ever get for parent-teacher conferences in the spring. Our quick survey at the end, 75% of the respondents say they prefer it over parent-teacher conferences. It's sort of it's a huge win. Initiatives like this rarely get that kind of positive feedback. Spring sports started today. Softball and baseball got underway. We have a prevention needs assessment survey coming up this week with our 8th, 10th, and 12th graders. National Honor Society and National Junior Honor Society have inductions tomorrow evening here at the elementary school auditorium. And the robotics team goes out on their first competition this weekend in Revere.
Are they ready to
Mass.
go?
Yes, they are absolutely 100%
There's been like a push.
ready to go. They are ready, yes.
That's awesome.
There you go. Do them all.
Good job.
Thank you.
So I'm just curious, I know the parent meeting for the middle school, unfortunately wasn't all that well attended. Is there
It wasn't,
another-
it was sort of in the middle of some snow events. I don't know if that impacted it.
Probably,
We
yeah.
had a delay that morning that prevented us from having the kids that day, so we moved the kids, but we kept the parents that evening. Yeah, it was not nearly as well as intended as last year. I don't know why.
Well, no, that's just, these things happen. I was just curious if there's gonna be another opportunity perhaps for people who were unable or unaware to attend.
Well, I didn't get any requests for that. I'm happy to do it. The kids will get their orientation day in the summer, but I can see if there's interest for sure.
Okay. Mr. Glazier.
We recently had a mobile dentist here at school, and pretty successful this spring. I think we had about 20 students who received dental care between the high school and elementary school. Our school nurses actually reached out to the Lions Club, and they're going to be doing a vision screening for any students who want to have a vision screening done, or parents who want to have their children screened. That's going to be on May 6th and May 7th. They have a mobile screening truck that comes to the school. So there'll be more information about that. I just wanted to get the dates out there. Preschool screenings are ongoing. They've been happening last week. They're continuing this week. We've got some individual screenings set up as well for parents who couldn't come during the day. So to point out, we're going to be doing spring pictures with Life Touch. Those are occurring next Tuesday. The way the spring pictures work is every child gets a picture taken, a basic packet is sent home with the students after the pictures come in, and parents can either purchase the packet online or send the packet back to the school and we return them to Life Touch. So a little bit different than the way they do them in the fall.
And doesn't the school get some sort of money if all the packets are returned or people order pictures or something like that?
Well, we certainly get monetary reimbursement or payment for a percentage of the packages that people buy. In the springtime, I don't think we get cash, but we get some type of prize that we can raffle off or give away. I think we have to reach 90% of the packets either returned or purchased, which is a pretty significant number. I don't know if we got the prize last year or not, but we do usually get a pretty sizable check in the fall and then about half of that much in the spring. Just pointing out that kindergarten registration is currently open for next year. We've set a tentative deadline to collect registration packets of April 12th, just before vacation week, and packets can be picked up at the elementary school office. And Mr. Reardon has rescheduled his badminton night for families in grades 4 to 6. That's going to be this Thursday from 4 to 5 after school in gym. That's it.
So spring picture day, just checking, is the
Yeah.
26th.
Correct.
Yep, thank you, sir.
Probably 9 a.m., 8:45, somewhere around there.
Yeah, morning.
Mrs. DeVere?
Thank you. Great. So like Mr. Glazier said, sign up for preschool screening is happening. March 26th is our next scheduled date, 9 to 1. So call the student services to set that up. Your child should be 3 on or before the date of the screening to qualify for that. Also, we do have open enrollment, so just be aware that applications are posted on the North Brookfield website under the Student Services tab. Children being considered for the program can be North Brookfield residents, children of town employees, or children from outside of North Brookfield School District, 3 years of age by August 31st, 2019.
Have you seen an increase in interest since?
We did get a phone call the other day. It is still kind of new, so we are going to be sending a letter to the selectmen to see if we can get some of the words out to town employees, kind of get the word out a little bit, posting at the library. I think that's the next step in the process, just kind of letting people know that you guys approved it, and now that's part of the enrollment. And then, like we said before, going forward for next year, we hope to kind of revise the scheduling to be able to offer some more scheduling types for longer days or less days. Some parents really only prefer a few days versus the 5, so to give some flexible options. I do plan on sending out a survey to kind of get some feedback on what parents are looking for to help kind of propose some options for scheduling. Also, just want to throw out a save the date for May 17th for the Special Olympics. It's going to be in Leicester again this year. Just a correction, originally it went out, the practices were going to be on Tuesdays, but we've changed them to Wednesdays to accommodate the yoga. That happens on Tuesdays. So Wednesdays will be practices, and those flyers will be going out in backpacks soon. They were posted on the social medias today with further information for that. And then just lastly, the peer-to-peer mentoring group is up and running. We've gotten applications from some of our older students who are interested in being peer mentors, so we're going to be reviewing those and scheduling a date to get some mentees and mentors together for an activity. And that's it.
Thanks. Ms. Powers?
Thank you. So a week from this Thursday is our inaugural STEAM-a-thon event. I'm super excited, in case you can't tell. And there's been a lot of support from the community and donations and of monetary amounts, as well as I put out on Facebook last week for people's trash. Like toilet paper tubes and paper towel tubes and egg cartons, and we've already got a bunch today. So we're going to be having 5 different workshops. Everybody will get to go to 2, and then we're going to open up the cafeteria to what I'm calling a STEAM playground, which will be robots everywhere, and just stuff to try and play and learn about. So it's going to be really exciting. Another really great piece about this is we've been working with Baypath. They are the ones that donated that big custom screen print press.
Yeah.
So we've got that pretty much up and running. Mrs. Jagir from both schools, the art teacher, went to Baypath and really went through the whole process of what it is to design and then print a screen and then make the shirts. And so they're coming here later in the week on Friday, and we're going to use our custom print press to make the rest of the Steamathon t-shirts.
So,
In the winner of the contest,
And the winner of the contest was Amanda Sedler, and
Seidler.
Seidler, and she's in 7th grade, and she did the design. I did post it on Facebook. It's a bunch of gears that she wrote Steamathon, and it was really cool.
it was really neat design.
so,
Yeah.
so Mrs. Jagir went to Baypath and they actually made the screen, the screen, and they made a shirt. Like they walked her
Yep.
through that process.
Yep.
On Friday, the teacher and 2 Baypath students are coming out to work with her here, so they can keep printing more shirts.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
And so she's gonna have some of her students there too, some of her older students, to like learn the process. And so there's a lot of potential for us being able to, you know, still in the infancy phase, but take orders and make t-shirts at a really low cost. So it's a really cool opportunity. We've kind of used the Steamathon as a way to push it through and, you know, get it started, which is awesome.
And just as an aside, I reached out to a gentleman from Ivory Ella, a shirt company. They're the ones who originally donated to Baypath the new screen press, which resulted paying it forward. Because part of that deal was, what are you gonna do with your old one that's still operational? That's how we were able to get it. We applied for it. He volunteered. He said to me when we were at Baypath to roll out their new thing, he said, well, when you're ready, let me know, I'll come out. So it looks like he's gonna be able to come, maybe, because he's talking to his boss about coming to the Steamathon and showing this is what he does for a living. He's like the head screen press guy for Ivory Ella, and show how to do it. It's pretty neat.
And you know what I'm gonna ask you, right? Yeah.
Probably.
How have you advertised?
How have you
Oh,
advertised it?
yes.
Well, and also have you, the newspapers know about it next week and are,
Yes, so there was a nice article in the Spencer New Leader, not this last week, but the week before, about the Steamathon, which was really nice. And it was in this past week's Quabog Current, as well as the speaker, the author who's coming in April, Dr. Bennett, who's the astrophysicist.
Right.
That was also in the paper this week. But I've been putting stuff on Facebook, and there's stuff in student boxes. I have 6 student volunteers, 4 from the high school and 2 from the elementary school, who are gonna help run things, and a bunch of teachers and staff who are volunteering as well. So it's coming together.
nice.
A little over a week.
And is there any possibility of taking that picture of Amanda and her winning design and sending that to newspapers?
Sure,
So
yeah,
it's
I could definitely do that.
great thing.
Yep,
Kids.
yep, awesome.
And they're gonna be here next week, right? Newspapers?
They were all invited.
Okay.
Yes, hopefully they'll be here.
Great.
Just the other kind of big piece from my report is just the work of the instructional leadership team. As Mr. Lynn mentioned in his mid-year cycle, we've been working as a team to focus in on professional development, instructional technology, and curriculum. And so we have 3 subcommittees who've been doing some really good work. Hopefully in an upcoming school committee meeting, I will have some members of the teams here to present a little bit more in detail about what we're working on. But just to give you a quick overview for each subcommittee, and it's in the report. So professional development subcommittee, really one of the things that has stood out to that group of teachers is, you know, how do we get professional development to be more personalized, which is something we've been working on, and then how does either a consultant who's coming in from the outside, an administrator, or a colleague, a teacher who might be leading that professional development, get feedback. So last Monday, we had our final half-day PD day, and every PD session had a very tailored feedback form, so we can kind of see how that process goes. The curriculum subcommittee has been working to see, okay, what do we have documented as curriculum across the district, what do we need to prioritize, as well as looking to develop a curriculum review cycle. So as opposed to like looking at all curriculum every year, looking at probably a 3-year plan to prioritize review of curriculum and what might that look like. Also kind of trying to, we have a lot of different groups and committees. A lot of them relate back to the ILT or curriculum. So kind of seeing how those all connect and how we can kind of create a thread through all of those committees. And then technology integration, that subcommittee has sent a survey to faculty and staff about use of technology. We've done an inventory of the tech in the district, and we're looking to send a survey to students next to get their input on technology across the district. So a lot of really, really good work, hard work that's happening. For a group that meets once a month, we're really making a lot of progress. We've drafted action plans, and again, hopefully, if not next month, the month after, we'll have some members here to give a presentation to the school committee. That's about it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So just real quickly, the technology department, Mrs. O'Hara, basically she talks about the Force 911 software training, and they ran a live test of the software in January, and then they completed a district-wide test on March 11th with students in the building, and the drill went well. Overall went very well. Phase 2 of security camera installation is underway, and then that's pretty much it, other than just some documentation that she has to do that's required. And then Mr. Shaw's report lamenting that winter is not yet done. It really covers all the stuff that you talked about with the power outage, and then he just wanted to thank the electrician, the school electrician, Troy Brown and his crew, the fire department, and his staff for all the work and efforts to get us back up and running. And I know they worked very hard. And probably the last thing he updates here that's kind of important is that they're going to close down the main soccer field in order to let it rest and renovate it, and they will do the work in-house with borrowed equipment. The major issues are the goal areas, which will need to be leveled and loam added and then seeded. We will aerate and oversee the whole field as well. It will be closed for use till the fall soccer season. So, you know, all those soccer fans out there in town, and there are a lot of them in North Brookfield, you know, if there's any way you want to help or donate or assist, I'm sure there's some way that a way can be found.
We have communicated with those groups, just about, because they look for practice time in the
Yeah.
spring and in the summer.
Yep.
But a field being used all seasons, it's getting beat up, and
Yeah.
it gets worse
It's
and
getting
worse
worse.
and worse. We just need to shut it down for the spring and the summer, and see if we can bring it back and grow some grass and let it
So
start.
all the fields effectively?
Just the soccer field.
Okay.
The main
So-
soccer field at the bottom of the field
Yeah.
there. Baseball and backfield.
Field hockey, right, is back there.
Yeah.
Yep.
That will be
Go
open.
there.
Mhm.
Those fields for stuff through the spring.
And so, like I said, all those soccer fans out there, I'm sure there's ways that you can help, so.
Absolutely.
So we're running just not too far behind, but the budget update. if,
All
we
right,
can-
so, we're pretty much in the same place we were. I will give you a quick, little piece of information. So, we have the need to hire a monitor on one of our special education vans for transportation. We're not seeing the need for that anymore, so the monitor is being moved. So that has an impact on this year's budget in the sense that when we originally asked the town for money, it included to pay for the monitor. So that money will not have to be tapped into.
Okay.
Which is a good thing. Second, it was in our budget for next year, for a total of $26,400. That can be removed, or at this point, I would suggest with that $26,400, we do a couple of things. One is, some of the feedback was, from the committee, was real concerned about removing all the much of the technology. $19,000 approximately in Chromebooks was removed from the budget. I would suggest, of the $26,400, we put $19,000 towards Chromebooks. It What I'm suggesting is we don't change our bottom line number at this point. We know there'll be a process, but shift them on. We also, Enforce 911 has a $4,000 a year licensing fee, and we've experienced a number of network issues over the past probably couple of months, particularly here at the elementary school. Mrs. O'Hara would like to do an audit of the network, so I'd like to propose that the remaining $3,400, $1,000 be focused in technology to do that audit so that we can get the Wi-Fi network operating the way it needs to, because it really has been spotty at best. That would be my suggestion, $26,400. The fact that you, last year, if you remember, we created a revolving account for tuition-in students for special education. We have another student who may be interested in joining us, so that would be another tuition-in. We have space in the program to accommodate that student, so we use the Southern Worcester County rates, so that's about $45,000 a year if they come down, or the remainder of this year it's obviously less than that, but that's what we would be able to spend next year. Whatever we earn this year, not sure if that will happen or not, but it's potential. And then with the additional non-resident students that you approved at the last meeting, we don't know what that'll be, but we'll have a better idea of what the revolving account will look like next year based on participation with
Preschool?
Yeah.
Yep.
So those are some positives and some adjustments, but in terms of the reduction of the monitor, I don't need you to vote on it, but I do need your, if you want to not spend that money, quote unquote, reallocate that money, I won't, and I'll just hold it. But I wouldn't suggest changing your bottom line at this point. So I would reallocate the money to the area where you were concerned, which was technology for the most part, if you're okay with me doing that.
I think that
Absolutely.
sounds good. I do think we should vote on it though.
Okay.
It doesn't change the bottom line number,
Yeah.
so technically you don't need to.
Okay. I like the
It's fine. It's
I
good.
like the technology.
Beautiful.
You
That's
guys?
it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
guess-
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure, I guess, it would just be nice if we had a full-time art person in the elementary school, but I'm not sure that amount would cover that anyways, half,
Yeah,
an
and it would be a
additional
one-year
half.
thing.
It's only a one-year thing,
That
Yeah.
funding.
right? Yeah,
It was only in
Chromebooks.
this government
Yeah.
budget.
Be nice to have a full-time music teacher too.
Yeah.
Mm.
The music teachers have time also? I want everything.
That's not wanting everything. Isn't that equity, right?
Yes.
That's what that is. All right, moving on, because,
Okay.
Policy.
yep. So we have this is a first reading of another number of policies from
Can
the.
can we just go back? So for for FY19, we asked for additional monies at special town meeting. Was this some of that money for the monitor?
Yes.
That was the part of the 130.
Yes.
So if we
Yeah.
don't need the 130, we're not going to, out of the stabilization account, then it will stay in the stabilization account, right?
That's the way it's set up.
So hopefully now, given that, we'll have a little, not a ton, because we were halfway through the year, but some monies in that stabilization
Right.
account. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I had that, okay.
Yep, it stays in there as a rainy day fund for special
Yeah.
education needs.
Could that include homeless transportation?
No.
Okay. Saw that on our budget line item.
I wish.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I do think, actually, just talking another thing about the state legislature, I haven't looked deeply into this, but they also have a committee on transportation, for school transportation, and those are some of the things they're looking at, is like homeless transportation, special ed transportation. So, I mean, I think that's another area, and it's separate from,
And it can be really costly and you
well, I mean,
didn't
yeah,
count on
it's a
it.
huge.
Yeah.
And there's a move to.
Circuit breaker
yeah,
doesn't include
right,
transportation.
Right.
Right.
But there is a move to have the circuit
Right.
breaker include transportation as well.
Okay.
Just ask Melody and Monique, they're the experts
Yeah.
in circuit breaker now.
I love
I
it,
mean, I
that's
do-
good.
I think that, but I mean, I think that's a whole other area that we can, we can find, find the names of individuals. I mean, I know Senator Hines is on it, individuals on that and share concerns. I mean, that's another huge area of expense for
Yes.
schools.
Yes. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so moving on to policy, another large chunk of the B's section has been updated, and we are looking at another first reading, and so if we could do this to make it quicker, you do a motion and do the reading, and then we could vote on it. I think that's the way we've done it, right?
First
I was
reading,
gonna
we
say,
don't
does
know.
this, I don't think we have to
Oh,
vote for
right, sorry.
Do you
anything.
want me to just list them though,
Yep.
so
Yep.
everybody knows?
Yep.
So first reading for the following policies, we have BEDB, agenda format, BEDB-E, agenda format, BEDD, rules of order, BEDF, voting method, BEDG, minutes, BEDH, public comment at school committee meetings, BEDH-E, guidelines for public comment, BEE, special procedures for conducting hearings, BG, school committee policy development, BGB, policy adoption, BGC, policy revision and review, BGD, school committee review of procedures, BGE, policy dissemination, BGF, suspension of policies, BHC, school committee staff communications, BIA, new school committee member orientation, BIBA, school committee conferences, conventions, and workshops, BID, school committee member compensation and expenses, I'm just gonna take a minute on that one. BJ, school committee legislative program, BK, school committee memberships.
Thanks.
Yep.
So, moving on to new business.
All right, so in your packet, there are some donations. The first is the grade 6 Nature's Classroom fundraiser. They received money from the Lakeside fundraiser. That was not on the previous one, in the amount of $225. The STEAM-a-thon. And Mrs. Powers, you can chime in here if we didn't get all of it. But the only two that you have not approved yet is $300 from FlexCon and $100 from Country Auto Body. Are there any additional?
Yes.
Oh, I print these before, so sometimes they come in different.
We received $25 from Angel Nail Salon and $100 from Dunkin' Donuts of Spencer and West Brookfield.
Can we just say that again?
So, Angel Nail Salon,
Yep.
$25,
Yep.
and Dunkin' Donuts of Spencer and West Brookfield, because they're the
Oh.
same, owned by the same management, is $100.
That one is 100, and it was 100 from Country Auto Body?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the same.
And $300 from FlexCon.
Yep.
Well, except for the ones she just mentioned.
Yeah, I think I got them.
And then the last one is, it's not in your packet, PTO, donated to the STEAM-a-thon, $647.50. That wasn't on your list, right? That was
It's in the
separate.
email.
It's in the email,
Yeah.
yeah, but not
Right.
on the list,
You
yeah.
you have the email, okay. And then, third grade, $250 for new books, and first grade, $350 for book bags. And that'll do it.
Okay. Motion to approve $225 donation from the 308 Lakeside fundraiser. Do we have to approve that even though it was a fundraiser?
Yes, because
Yeah.
the parents donated it to the Nature's
Mhm.
Classroom Fund.
All right, motion to approve $225 donation from the 308 Lakeside fundraiser, $300 donation from FlexCon, $100 donation from Country Auto Body, $25 donation from Angel Nails, $100 donation from Dunkin' Donuts in Spencer, all for the STEAM-a-thon. The FlexCon, Country Auto Body, Angel Nails, and Dunkin' Donuts for the STEAM-a-thon. And then a PTO donation of $647.50 for the STEAM-a-thon, $250 for new books, and then $350 for book bags from the PTO.
I second.
All in favor?
Sorry, that was kind of a messy motion.
It's
So
okay.
we got through it.
Well done, well
We
done.
knew what you meant.
Through it.
Once again, thank you to everybody who is always donating.
Thank you very, very much.
So we do have an executive session.
Right, so,
Just before we wrap up, I know I would like to say, and you obviously said it, Rich, but I would just like to say thank you to everyone who helped out with the loss of power. I know teachers, Rich, at one point we were thinking maybe we could move classrooms, so teachers were in here trying to see if they could, move some spaces. So I would just like to thank everyone in town, fire, building inspector, everyone that helped out. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
so we do have an executive session. So this is
Roll call vote.
yep.
Yep.
So, I think we need a motion to do that, right?
Motion to go,
Right.
do we know why we're going?
It's contract
Collective bargaining,
negotiations.
yeah.
Motion to go into executive session to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body, and the chair so declares.
So, we need a roll call vote, so,
Okay.
yeah, say your name.
Elizabeth Lai?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Kristen DePass, yes.
Meg Cloutier, yes.
Maria Beidertucker, yes. And,
So, I also wanna do, we're not gonna come back into regular meeting
Right.
after,
Yep, we'll
correct?
just adjourn.
yep,
So, regular meeting will be adjourned after.
yes,
Mhm.
yes,
Yes.
so,
Do I have to make a motion?
I
for
believe
that?
so, yeah.
Yeah, motion to adjourn the regular school committee meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for
Right,
coming.
thank you, everybody.
Have a good night,
Safely
guys.
home.
Thank you.
You too.